name's Leon Hill. I'm from the Universal Music Group. I work within the digital department on an international, global scale. You might be wondering what I'm doing here today, given the other panellists that I'm speaking with. I often wonder what I'm doing here. I think in many ways it's possibly a salutary tale, point counterpoint to balance perhaps some of the problems that smaller startups, smaller creative businesses have. Anne-Maria mentioned earlier exploiters of smaller companies' IP. That's essentially what we do. We exploit individuals, we exploit companies that we acquire. It's not all smooth sailing. Our revenues are dropping about 20% year on year. I'm not about to get my violin out. I don't expect anyone particularly feels very sorry for us. We're the biggest record company in the world. We own a lot of other larger record companies. There's no real need to feel sorry for us yet. What we have done is experience a massive change in our industry. Problems of music piracy, physical and digital, have essentially decimated our business. Our traditional revenues have dried up. I probably don't need to tell you how difficult it is to find a record shop, let alone actually buy a record. The majority of our product now is sold digitally online. That makes it very easy to copy without losing any quality or degradation. It also makes it very easy to distribute through the internet. So suddenly we've got the means of manufacture, the means of distribution are in the hands of the consumer, which makes our job very difficult because traditionally that was our job. Not only that, the means of production and distribution are in the hands of the artist. Again, that was traditionally our job. So we found ourselves in a very difficult place, very much a perfect storm. We've got the convergence of hardware, software, and with the internet distribution, all of which were traditionally areas that we took care of. They were the services that we sold ourselves on. They were the services that generated our revenues. So we've had to react very late in the day to these fundamental changes to our business. Very much an adapt and survive. Some of our competitors aren't surviving very well. Some of them aren't surviving at all. We're fairly fortunate in as much as the way that we've approached this problem is to sweep out a lot of the sleeping dinosaurs, a lot of the dead wood, and bring in people who you wouldn't traditionally have found in the roles that we've placed them in. My background, for example, is not in the music industry. I'm a solicitor by trade. I spent 6 years in private practice working with small creative businesses in the same way as the rest of my panellists are at the moment, finding funding for them, setting up commercial and corporate structures within their organisations, helping them to exploit their intellectual property. So that's my background. My background is looking at new problems from a start-out perspective, which is essentially where we found ourselves. We've been caught sleeping, we've been too relaxed. In many ways, we're in a similar position to a small business. We need to think creatively about where we drive our revenues from. What revenue streams are there that we haven't needed to exploit in the past? It's been very easy for us to record an artist, to press a record, to distribute it to a record shop, to market it, and that's really it. That opportunity isn't there anymore. We need to look beyond the traditional revenue and business models that we've had in place. As I said, we've got consumers that are distributing our music for us. We're not seeing any revenue from that. We've got artists such as Radiohead, Coldplay, Nine Inch Nails that are dispensing with a record company and distributing their own product through the internet, sometimes at no charge. So we're being hit by a double whammy in many respects. So the steps that we're taking, we've tried to re-educate a generation of consumers who've been getting music for free that they should be paying for it. Well, that's impossible. Because if you're getting something for nothing, at no loss in quality, it's going to be very difficult for you then to put your hand in your pocket and pay for it. So we've pretty much given up with that. It's not working. Well, how can we deal with it? Well, if you're expecting for something for nothing, perhaps we can give you something that you think you're getting for nothing, but really we are getting paid for it. We are getting revenues from that product. So we're looking at more business to business rather than direct to consumer services. If we have an association with, for example, something you'll probably hear about very soon, a mobile phone company. If we do a deal with a handset manufacturer whereby they can sell their music handset and you get a year's worth of free downloads with that handset, well, you're getting your free music and you can keep that free music, but it's the handset manufacturer that's paying us a bounty per handset. So when you're talking about millions of handsets, suddenly that is a very lucrative area of business that you're opening up. We can also look at the value of music beyond its intrinsic musicalness. So rather than selling you, or rather than aiming at a consumer who likes the music, aim it to a consumer who may not necessarily be interested in the music but sees the value of that music as a marketing tool or as an aid to promoting their product. So whether it's giving it away free, whether it's an association with music through sponsorship of some type or other, that's something else that we're looking at, and it's forming a much bigger part of our business. We're looking at longer term strategic marketing partnerships with brands, with other partners. We can come with music. If we can hook up with a music device player and somebody with a distribution network, then we've got essentially a holy trinity. We can provide the content, they have the player, and they can distribute it. These are all 3 points that we used to be entirely responsible for, but now we're just a piece in a bigger jigsaw, if you like. The benefit of these strategic marketing partnerships are they're more long-term. So we've got longer-term revenues that we can rely on from them. And the kind of thing I'm talking about is a link-up, again, with a handset manufacturer and, say, a telephone network. So you've got a telephone network that has subscribers that it can market the service to, market the content to. You have a handset manufacturer so they can play the content. So between the three of us, we should be able to seal up that little part of the market. We're also looking at the kind of commercial models that we put in place in the deals that we're doing. We need to be able to, as we found out, we need to be able to react to the most seemingly minute change that, like a butterfly's wings flapping on the other side of the planet, can echo into something that pulls the rug out from under your feet, as we've found. So we will look beyond a straightforward licensing deal. So if you wanted to sell our music, previously it'd be fine, it's on these terms, and this is how much you pay us. We're aware of the value that we can bring to a startup business, or any business. So for example, an internet radio station, if they were to sign up our repertoire or our catalogue, it adds a massive amount of value to their business, which they can then go on and sell, and we're left with an owner of a company that we may not be familiar with. It may be one of our competitors that have bought them out. We're more likely now to look at a joint venture with these types of organisations. We may look at taking an equity stake. We may look at the type of way we link to their service. Are they advertising driven? Are they subscription based? Do we need to link ourselves to the retail price? So we may have a greater of one of three different payments options, if you like. There might be a flat fee, there might be a percentage of retail, there might be a pro rata percentage of the advertising income they receive. So we'll look at linking ourselves in a variety of ways, way beyond the very sort of simple, straightforward content payment that we previously had. We're embracing new technology. We're looking at the YouTubes, the MySpaces, the Bebos, the unlicensed distributors of our music, and trying to legitimise them, bring them in line with the threat of legal action, and then find a deal that can be done whereby we're getting paid for the content that they're using previously for nothing. So I suppose, to wind up, my question would be, how can you prepare for such a commercial sea change in your business? It's very easy to be comfortable, but as we've found it, it's very easy to become uncomfortable and be forced into a reactive situation that you can't prepare for.